What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tavern Style. I'm Joey Christopolous from the All Big Ten Podcast.
Big Dave, CHGO Bulls.
And today's topic, after the Chicago Bears lose to the Indianapolis Colts, is Big Dave. Is Matt Eberflus a good head coach?
I hate everyone right now, so that's very hard to ask me right now. I wanted him fired last year, I'll be honest with you. I was very public about that. I didn't think he was a great coach. But I said whatever Ryan Poles decides, I'm going to roll with, because I trusted him as a GM. I still do. I still trust him as a GM. It's 3 games in. Of course, I'm going to give him a little more time. But watching it last week with the 2 challenges that he had, hearing him talk about this week when he said we need to be better on the 4th and 1 or that 3rd and 1 that we ran at the goal line. We need to be a little better with that. And
parentheses, it's all bad.
Yeah.
But we're working on it.
And then say, the reason we had to call that timeout for the 2-point conversion because there was a miscommunication. I can't stand miscommunication because that's something you can control. You know what I mean? Yep. You tell people, and all great coaches, or even just good coaches, are great communicators. You don't have those issues. Caleb Williams shouldn't be having these kind of issues, and it's not his fault. So I don't like the fact that I can point to you, my coach, and say, why didn't you do this better? I should be pointing to Caleb because he's a rookie and being like, well, he's making rookie mistakes. Your offensive line is trash. I should be doing that. I shouldn't be pointing at you like, quit worrying about your damn hair and call the game correctly.
We didn't know each other last year.
No.
But I'm right there with you. I was leading the charge on getting rid of Matt Eberflus. I just didn't think that he was a guy.
Yeah.
He did turn around. I'll be honest, the glow up kind of put the shades over my eyes just a little bit for a second. But again, the obvious stuff is he's 11-26. Last year when he had that losing streak, I was like, well, how many is it going to take before you actually fire this guy?
Yeah.
And now we're at a point here where, again, it's the same old stuff as last year, just different quarterback, different story, right?
Yeah.
Of, again, a slow start. Another slow start. Last year we were 0-3. This year we're 1-2. We have been in the lead for out of 180 minutes of play. We've only been in the lead for 7 minutes and 52 seconds of the season right now. At some point, it has to come back to the head coach.
Yeah.
And I think the worst part about it is that when you look around the NFC North, Big Dave, is that look at what Kevin O'Connell's doing with Sam Darnold. Look at what Matt LaFleur's doing with Malik Willis. Like, we all know Dan Campbell's running his machine up there in Detroit. Like, right now, I think, Matt Eberflus is at the bottom of that NFC North. And I just don't think right now he is a good head coach, man. What is with the slow starts, man? Why is that continuously happening?
And what's maddening is I can point to other coaches on his staff and be like, well, I don't like you either. You know what I mean? I think you're bad too. As of right now. Of course, you got time to get better and all that other stuff. But as of right now, just looking at Shane Waldron and looking at the play calls he made, we talked about this last week. We were like, we know they're last in running. We get this. So obviously you're going to be running the football, right? We saw Roschon Johnson. We talked about this last week. He needs to be running the football a little bit more, right? You saw he had, 38 yards, 3.8 a carry. That was your most.
We tried so hard.
We tried
to tell him.
Guess what? 8 carries. 8 carries is what he had. 13 for Swift, but 8 carries for him. Down at the goal line, you want a big dude who can soften up the middle. Well, you got one. You said, go ahead and stay over here on the bench. We're going to run an option. How about that? Let's run an option with Swift and do that. That's the stuff I didn't like from Shane Waldron.
And maybe the biggest part that's kind of bothering me about Matt Eberflus is he's the defensive specialist, right? Ooh. And now all of a sudden, well, we gave him credit last year for being a good defensive coordinator, right? But the in-game operation is still shitty. It still stinks, as you mentioned. The challenges, the way we use timeouts, we're just throwing them like we're throwing coins into a well. I don't like that at all. And the question is, when you talk about a guy like Shane Waldron, is maybe Matt Eberflus is a great defensive coordinator. Is he a good head coach? Can he see things before they're coming? Can he be the guardrails for someone like a Shane Waldron and other people on his staff? I just think that's a big question that we still have to answer.
Oh, it's a huge one. And like you said, he's a defensive guy, so he's probably more hands-off when it comes to the offense. So he has to have those other things tight, like the challenges, like the timeouts and those kind of things like that. And he doesn't. He doesn't have those things tight. I have a problem with Caleb Williams throwing 52 passes.
Yes.
I got an issue with that.
Yeah.
You know,
so did Caleb Williams last year. He said, how many did I throw? They were like 52, sir. And it kind of blew his mind a little bit.
And I'm looking at the Colts on the other side, and they said, no, we're just going to give Jonathan Taylor the ball, let him run 20 plus times and see what happens over here. So I think they just want to do so many things because they know all the talent that is here on this team, but you got to build first. You got to take these small little tiny steps and get these small victories. I said I wanted Caleb to throw 2 touchdowns this week. That's what he did. Yep. He threw 2 touchdowns this week. So those are the things I need to see growing a little more. And it's going to take better coaching, man, and better play calling. Know your personnel. Shout out Stacey King, KYP. Know your personnel, man. Yeah. Know who you got at running back. You know that their defense was bad at stopping the run. That's all the Packers did to them that last week was run the football. Run the ball, man, when it's that appropriate time. And know who to give the ball to run it. And stop with these terrible timeouts.
Yeah, and look, Matt Eberflus can be great with the players. I think we all can believe that he's a good person, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome
all that stuff that does mean something in this world. But at the end of the day, is he a good head coach? Is the question on Tavern Style. I'm sitting with no right now. Maybe the final one before we get out of here. Big Dave is like, we saw a little bit of this last year. They started off 0-4. They finished 5-3, and all of a sudden the glow up and Matt Eberflus, it's like rock and roll. So I guess the question is this like a forgive but never forget? Because I think that they are, as we've talked about, give them a month, give them some time. Caleb's going to be good. They turn this season around.
Yeah.
What does that do for you with your Matt Eberflus stock? I mean, does it remain stagnant? Can it go up from here? Where you land?
Sure, it can go up. Of course it can. But as of right now, it's going to remain stagnant because even that turnaround, like you said, would still be what I saw last year. Yeah. And what I saw coaching-wise last year, it still wasn't enough for me to say I wanted to keep this dude. He's got to do better. He has better talent. He has better personnel. He has to be better as a head coach.
100% with you. That's going to do it here on Tavern Style. I'm Joey Christopolous with the All Big Ten Podcast.
Big Dave, CHGO Bulls.
Check us out again next Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.